This is maize, sweet corn, and every one of these little orange bits of plastic is a seed, and all you've got to do is use a stick to make a hole about 3 inches deep, drop 3 to 5 seeds in that hole, and then after 5 to 7 days they start growing like this, and then a few days later like this, a few days later more like this. It's for me, it's an absolute miracle. I think most people look at this and think, yeah, so what? You're throwing a seed in the ground and it grows. But yeah, it's an absolute stunning miracle for me, and it's growing so quick as well. After 90 days, I'll be able to harvest this maize for chicken feed, and that's my big plan. It's in 3 months' time. I'm going to build my chicken coop. I'm going to get maybe 3 chickens. I might get as many as 10 chickens, and then that'll be a big step towards my self-sufficiency. I'll have eggs, I'll have meat, and of course that's on top of the fruit and veg that I'm already growing in the chakra. It's coming together. I digress. We're supposed to be doing a tour of the chakra. I just wanted to revisit the lemongrass garden because there are 3 or 4 plants here that I didn't mention last week. And for anyone old enough to remember the Sesame Street, this part of the chakra is brought to you by the letter P. Why? Because we've got platano, we've got pineapple, we've got peanuts, potato and papaya. All beginning with the letter P. Who'd have believed it? But also something I didn't mention last week was the mangoes. Mangoes are coming into season this month, and we've got so many mango trees here that we won't be able to walk without stepping on them, and it will also bring the wild budgies by the thousands and the noise that they make. That'll be good fun. Platano, yeah, I didn't mention that last week, but I've mentioned it now. And what else we got? Yeah, there's this. This is avocado. Now, there are already a number of avocado trees here, but the owner has planted a ton more, and the arsehole has planted more avocados in my part of the chakra. Why am I not happy about it? Because in 2 or 3 years, they're going to make shade, and the plants don't need shade. And I'm not going to be able to cut the trees down because he planted them. But anyway, I'm biting my tongue and getting on with it. What else was there not mentioned? There was a 4th one. There's the root spice turmeric. I've planted that in a couple of places, but I can't even remember where. It was months ago when I planted them, and the turmeric hasn't grown because there's been no water. So yeah, in addition to that, of course, we've got the lemongrass, we've got the kaiwa, and something else which I don't care about. Let's get on with the walk. Well, we'll just take this short path through to the next part, and while we do, an update to the video log. The river's risen this last week. It's risen by about 1/2 metre, but that means that the ice caps are melting. And if they're melting now, they're going to continue to melt. The river's going to continue to rise. So that's good. It's bringing its problems, which I won't go into at the moment. But yeah, good news. There's been a lot of rain this last week as well, so it looks like the drought's over. Yeah, so there's the video log part out of the way. Right, in this part of the chakra, I've planted platano, but not because I wanted platano. It's because I've planted potato here. It's the potato that I want, and the platano should grow nice and tall. I've planted the 2 side by side. The potato should climb the platano, and then we'll be happy. Yeah, should get a good harvest of potatoes. However, we have had some problem. I mean, here's some potato, for example, which has already started climbing its platano, which is nice. But the problem is, because we had the drought, the platano hasn't grown as good as it should have done. It's not grown as tall as it should have done. Now, I gave the platano 2 months head start. And by the time it's 9 months old, it should be at full height. and ready to start producing its fruit. But it looks like the potatoes caught up and it might not have anywhere left to climb. So that was just unfortunate, an unfortunate part of the weather. We got another potato here. Yeah, looks like there's a potato here as well. There's about 13 in total. 13 in total. And I've been a little bit stupid here because I've planted the potato here next to a platano that was already maturing. And look what we got here. Look what we got here. Look. That there, if you can see it, is the platano putting out its fruit. Now that fruit, I'll try and get it from another angle. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, that fruit is going to take 3 months to mature, and then I'm going to have to cut it down because the plant will rot. Once the fruit's ready, the plant will rot, and then the potato that's climbing that fruit isn't going to have anything to climb anymore. So we'll have to see what happens. And the worst thing is that if the platano, when the platano collapses, the potatoes will just make a carpet of leaves all over the place, and shouldn't be too detrimental. Being a little bit smarter here, and I've planted the potato next to a tree. And I don't really care for this tree. This tree is called a retama, and if the potato smothers the whole thing, who cares? Here's another example of a disaster. I've been victim of the weather, really. This potato is growing nicely and it's climbing the papaya that I put it next to. But again, because there wasn't much rain over the last 2 months and there was a lot of very hot sunny days, the papaya is not grown as tall as it should have done, and this particular potato is going to run out of something to climb up. But what are you going to do? I'm trying my best. Yeah, a couple more things before we move on. A couple more things in this part of the chakra. First one is this beautiful example of a papaya tree. It's got lots of fruit that's growing on it. I haven't really got any papayas that are producing at the moment, so I'm quite anxious to for these. Papaya is a good fruit. I like papaya. It's a mild fruit. It's got a lot of vitamins. It's got vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. So yeah, it's a nice fruit to have. It'll be a month or two before I can harvest from this tree, but the tree just gets taller and taller and taller, and we can see there is some smaller papayas behind it. They're less mature, and then above that we've got flowers, and those flowers are getting pollinated, and they're going to produce more fruit. And this particular papaya tree, like every papaya tree, is just going to grow taller and taller and taller. Eventually we're going to need a stick to actually force the fruit off, and then the fruit will be growing too tall, we can't even get to it. May then cut the tree down. And only other thing is this particular bush here. This bush grows all over the place. This bush is called cordoncillo, and it's actually, and I couldn't possibly comment, but the locals say this plant is highly medicinal. The most interesting thing is it's said to actually cure, and it's said to, I'm not saying it does, but it's said to actually cure prostate cancer. But it's also good for tackling viruses like flu and a cold. What you do is you take the leaves off and you boil some water, put 10 leaves in the water, you've got a nice tea, and you drink that tea, and that's your treatment. Now I can't I can't vouch for the medicinal benefits of any plant here in the jungle because of YouTube guidelines. YouTube say that if any medicinal advice is not approved by the World Health Organization, then they'll pull the video. So yeah, this is allegedly medicinal. Couldn't say any more than that. So yeah, we'll carry on. Tune in next week, folks.